According to the investigation, Rimuru had been born from the magicule pool that leaked from Veldora. And yet, Rimuru devoured all of the Storm Dragon, his parent, and transformed himself into the 5th true dragon, Ultimate Slime. Immediately after, the slime began to take human form. He had a single sword in his hand, and not a scrap of clothing. He looked around 15 to 16 years old. At a height of only 160 centimeters or so, it was not an exaggeration to say that he was of small stature. However, the amount of magicule contained within him was not only comparable to Veldora's, but it also surpassed it. His golden eyes were large and beautiful, as if they could see through everything. His silvery hair was lightly tinged with light blue, giving off a moonlit glow. He had no gender, and his face was more dainty than beautiful. However, the divine presence that he gave off was sublimely transformed into beauty. His dazzling white skin was cloaked in an aura of black and gold. Known at the time as just Rudra, was born millennia ago as a prince of the Nazca kingdom with the ambition to unite the entire world. At some point, he was taken under the tutelage of Veldora, who trained him to be a chosen hero that could rival Guy Crimson. Over the course of the many years of his training, He obtained both the unique skill Chosen One and the ultimate skill Yuri. He was also blessed by the elementals and their queen, awakening as a true hero sometime after. Before his first confrontation with Guy, Veldora approached him and proposed that they trade ultimate skills, his Uriel for Veldora's Michael. Rudra accepted the offer and received Michael, a skill better suited for his dream of unifying the world. Rudra, you see, he reached his limits long ago. He reincarnated himself so many times that it wore his soul out. What you see there is Rudra, but it's also not. He's long been replaced by Michael, Lord of Justice. Rudra once held pure and idealistic dreams of creating a perfect world where disputes could be settled with words rather than violence. The man with these naive ideals was slowly corroded away over time as Michael's control took control over his mind, his exhausted soul being chipped away by repeated rebirths, only serving to exacerbate the problem. Eventually, nothing more remained than an echo of his former self, a complete thrall to Michael that was imparted with the harsh ideologies of absolute justice and might make right.
You speak of the angels of nation, yes?
Correct. If we allow that city to continue to expand at its current pace, it's all but guaranteed.
That would be troublesome. After all, we're aiming to secure total victory in the next great Temple War.
Feldway grieved and hated humans on Earth. No, not just humans. Not just humans, but elves, dwarves, beastmen, and even Majin. He hated all demi-humans, that is to say, all of humanity. So he wanted to destroy them. The people who took Veldora from us don't deserve to live. He would unite the world Veldora had created with his own hands, and then he would condemn those who have committed the greatest crimes. That was Feldway's conclusion. He would take the world favored by the god Veldora and dye it into his own color. He would destroy its diversity in order to create a world of his own. Lord Veldora, if you want to punish me, then punish me. That is what I want. Now hurry, or there will be no more worlds.
De quebradinha agradando.
Then, do you have any last words? Rimuru asked him. Accepting defeat, Michael thought to himself. How could he have lost when he had outperformed them in every way? He could not find the answer. That's why he asked a different question rather than sighing in defeat. Who are you? To which Rimuru replied with a puzzled look. I'm just a slime.